first one of these.
Hey? First one of these, what?
Interviews. I feel like I'm on the news.
No. Just pretend you're talking to your mum.
Yeah.
All right. On debut, Joe Gauci tonight in keeping, and we've got Graham Arnold. TV ready? Okay. Joey.
Arnie, obviously commiserations on the result tonight. What did you make of your boys' performance over the 90 minutes and the game as a whole?
Let's talk about the series, I think, first. I think it was a great series. You know, it's a great opportunity to give some of the young boys an opportunity, but also to see how and what it takes to be top players. And it's a top, a team in South America that finished fourth in their qualifiers. That did well at the World Cup. And I thought overall, if there's one big lesson we learnt tonight for the young boys, was the physicality of the game and the speed. And these type of things are great learning experiences for the players. But we set a challenge to the boys at the start of the camp of winning the series. So me being positive, we won the series. One win each, and 4 goals we scored, they scored 3. So I'm very happy with the boys.
Maybe the lessons that you didn't get to experience in the Copa Americas because of COVID.
Yeah.
You had a chance to do it.
Exactly. And, people can look at things, and the way I'm looking at it today, and obviously tomorrow will be better to reflect on, but I see this as it's been a fantastic 10 days. We found players, we found 3 or 4, 5 kids that can handle the level, and they're only going to get better. But we need to expose them to more of these type of things. And the guy sitting next to me, it's great to see his performance was fantastic. And Aidan O'Neill, Geordie Boss, Mark Robbo, Alice Robinson, and so it's great to see. And when you see players that can deal with those type of teams and those type of players, and you just know that the future's bright for the kids.
The discovery of new players and the results that you mentioned, do you sort of see this as like almost the ideal building block for the start of the next World Cup cycle on the Asian Cup in January? Is this sort of like an ideal experience?
100%. We could have played, and no disrespect, we could have played a weaker team and won 6-0, 5-0, but what would we have learned? The players wouldn't have learned anything. What they would have learned is, what it's like to be in a Socceroos camp. But this guy will tell you probably more on how he felt about tonight. But over the 2 games, I couldn't be happier with the effort. The effort was fantastic. Difficult pitch to play on. Very difficult pitch to play on. And as I said, before the camp, it was about, finding some more players and getting players ready for it, and which players could step up. Brandon Barella, fantastic tonight. So it's been a win for me. It's been a win-win camp.
Joe, how did you find it, mate? Nervous leading into it, and were those nerves settled pretty quickly because you made a couple of strong saves early on?
I would be lying if I was saying I wasn't nervous. I think sort of as the day went along, the nerves probably built a little bit, but once I sort of got the warm-up out of the way and got out there and, just enjoyed the experience of walking out for the national team, sort of soaked in, the atmosphere. Once the whistle went, it sort of just went like a normal game, but just a lot quicker. It was, the pace of it was quick. I had to focus fully for 90 minutes, so you can't switch off. I knew that was going to be the case, and it was a good test, I think, mentally as well as physically testing my abilities, but probably in the goalkeeper position more my mental strength to stay in the game for 90 minutes and stay switched on right until the last whistle.
And how helpful would Maddie and any others been just in the build up to this, knowing that this was your opportunity and they had your backs?
Yeah, they were fully supportive. Maddie, Redders, JC, everyone, Arnie, all fully supportive. Giving me full confidence to go out there and just said, do what I do every week for Adelaide. Play my game. Don't, try and be someone I'm not, I suppose. And just play to my strengths. And I felt I was able to do that tonight. There was probably a few moments that, look back and try and work on. The distribution's probably one of my biggest things. But no, I think, can take a lot of positives from it and a lot of learning experiences.
Joe, I imagine Socceroos cap is something. It's obviously one of the dreams that you want to tick off. What do you look to do now? How do you try and kick confidence? Are you looking move overseas, more caps? What sort of next for you? I guess you're obviously still in the 22.
I got a game Friday night against Western Sydney, so that's the next focus. It's a bit of a cliche answer, but it's true. It's just one game after the other for me. With Adelaide, we've got a strong seat. We've had a strong year so far, and it's just continue that. Hopefully take some confidence from, knowing now that I can play at an international level and take that back to Adelaide to build on the rest of the year and take the form that we as a team at Adelaide have been in into finals and have a strong year and look to win something. That's where the focus is. And then after that, if I can be rewarded with another opportunity to come back into camp, then, that's something I'll be looking forward to. But at the same time, that's all to do with how my form with my club. Just because of one game, I'm not just going to be, rewarded to come in every single time. So the main focus is to continue to perform with Adelaide, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of months that follow that.
Joe, 2 years ago you made your A-League debut at the same venue as well. Does it all feel a little bit prophetic that 2 years after you're here in a Socceroos jersey?
Yeah, it does. No, that was sort of the first thing I thought of. When Arnie told me yesterday I was playing, it was, I made my Adelaide debut there, and my parents were able to come across from, and my girlfriend and my brother and everything were able to come across from Adelaide. So to have them all here again in the same stadium, a few more people here this time, so a bit more of an atmosphere. But no, it feels a little bit like a movie, I suppose. That it's the same place.
Arnie, I know you've signified in the next window you're going to bring some different players in and have to look at a few, but looking at the back four tonight, Milos just now, he started at right back at the World Cup, he started at right back in this series. We normally know him as a centre back, but do you see Milos as your starting right back at the moment?
Well, again, it's one step at a time with that. Milos did well at the World Cup for us with that. We changed our style with, with Milos tucking in like a back three and using the winger down the line and pushing our eights high. So, a bit lopsided, but you've got to play players to their strengths. And but Milos is doing exceptionally well, but we know that he can do very well at centre back as well. It's as I said, it's one step at a time. But this whole camp has been a win for me.
Roy?
Joe, how hungry are you for more caps now, for more opportunities, given you can't be sure when the next one will come with so many good keepers all battling for those spots?
I guess that decision isn't up to me. All I can do is, like I said, focus on my form with my club. And if I'm able to come into the camp and have the opportunity to continue to learn off, great keepers like Matty and Redders and whoever else comes in, then fantastic. And if I'm able to show, when I'm in camp that I'm up to the level and, I have to get the backing of the coaches to play, then I'll take any opportunity that can come. I think, I'm very grateful for the opportunity I was given tonight, and, I've achieved my dream of playing for the Socceroos. So my focus is back to club now, and, if I get another cap, fantastic. But even if I don't, I've achieved a dream. I've played for the Socceroos, and, I can be happy with that. But
You want more?
I do want more.
Graham, how tempting was it to play in this story, bring you on?
Yeah, look, of course, but you've got to remember the kids just starting the journey, and the focus probably for him should be the junior national teams and and then the Socceroos. But the reason we brought him into camp was for him to come in and learn and see and experience what it was like to be part of the Socceroos and what it takes to be a top player, and I do believe he will be. But it was great to have him in camp.
Sorry, just on that, you got him, you've got Noah Bodic, Garan. So you look to the future as the coach. Do you sort of decide what the next 4 or 8 years could look like for Australia?
No, I won't be here in 8 years.
As a coach,
Yeah, but no. But the most important thing is, you can mention those names, but most important thing is they play. and not play for 20 minutes off the bench. They need to start playing 90 minutes, and working the hard yards, and understanding that and knowing what it takes, rather than just 15 minutes off the bench here and there. So it's they've got to just work hard at their clubs and progress, and that's how you do it.
Graham, just following on from that, I just wanted to ask about how the advancement of the elite kind of academies, the A-League clubs are helping develop future Socceroos for the future. How do you think that's been going so far?
Look, I think we're as good as anyone up to 16, and then after 16 we hit a brick wall, and I think that that brick wall needs to be removed for the players to develop and the kids to come through. I'm not just saying Adelaide, South Australia are doing a great job. They're clearly doing a great job, but the other states and the A-League, at the moment there's no NYL. That was there a few years back, but we're just not playing again enough football in Australia. They're all around the world. Everyone's playing, 10 months of the year, and we're playing for 6, 7. And I'd say if I asked him today what he'd rather do, have 4 months off, 5 months off, or play, and not have such a long pre-season, he'd want to play. Huh?
Of course. Yeah.
Without a long pre-season.
Less running.
Less running. So it's something that needs to be worked on for sure, and something that Ernie Merrick is working hard with as well.
Do you want to follow up? Perfect. Anna?
Graham, just to follow up on tonight's game, it felt super physical. You guys don't take a backward step, but it felt like Ecuador really came to play in that regard. What do they take of that in terms of a learning experience going forward against teams that are going to really attempt to bully you on the ball?
I think one of the best things was how strong they were, and how well they held the ball up when they needed to, and we couldn't manhandle them. And boys will go away with a great lesson that they have to work harder in the gym. They've got to work harder on the pitch. They've got to work hard playing those type of games, and the experiences of playing those games is the most important thing. And for the young ones, as I said, the Olympics is the most important thing for me, for them, because you can get through another campaign there with the Olympic team, and by the time the Olympics are over in July 2024, then the kids would have a full pathway done and experienced, the same as what the other Olympic team I had in 2022 that playing against Argentina and against Spain and Egypt, and that's the greatest type of thing that the players can have.
We'll finish as we started with Joey.
I think what is next, because I imagine, I think a lot of the boys are on 6 a.m. flights tomorrow, so not a lot of time for debriefing and reflection, but what's ahead? Are you going to stick around for the A-League's finals? Are you going to head overseas and watch some of the European-based boys? Yeah, look,
I'll probably stick around for the A-League. I've got René Molen staying on the ground overseas to go and check on players and look at players, and we've got some scouting to do and some hunting to do, and but I'll stick around and watch the A-League probably and get out and see the boys and and watch the games, because that's more my role here in Australia, and especially with the young ones, because as I said, if I'm not watching the A-League, then and seeing what they're doing, then players like this are not getting called in.
Good. So, Joe sort of talked himself down a little bit, but what did you really like about what you saw from him tonight?
I thought he was fantastic. He was brilliant. He didn't, the goals, they weren't any fault of his, and sloppy goals, the penalty, and from a corner. So it wasn't, he should be extremely, and I know his family will be extremely proud of his debut. It was a fantastic debut, and one that's going to put him in good stead for the future, because as he said, he feels like now he actually belongs, and that's one of the biggest things. And he explained it to me, how he felt. Tell him 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I just felt like in the A-League you might get 5 frantic minutes at the start of the game, and that just went like that for 90 minutes, so it didn't really stop until the whistle went. So yeah, it was like I said, a lot of focus and just the pace of the game. Had to stay mentally there so that I could be ready at any moment.
And there's plenty more of him to come.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Just